I wonder what it's like to be dead. I hope it's peaceful, like you're floating. I hope you don't keep thinking about how you died or why. How it makes no sense. The thing about it is, it's all so final.
We're just so happy you're here. We want you to have a wonderful time.
It's not like we're on vacation, Aunt Bitsy.
I know that, Davy.
Where are you from anyway?
Atlantic City.
Oh, that's in California, right?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. What's wrong with Mom?
Everything's gonna be alright.
Gotcha. So what's your name?
You can call me Tiger. So what division is your dad in? My dad.
He's, away.
Say that you miss Daddy. No, you say it!
Please don't make this harder than it has to be.
If you think my life is just so easy, you're wrong.
You have a bright smile, Tiger. Sad eyes. You want to talk about it?
This is for you, Daddy.
I can tell you're strong.
Life is a good adventure.
Hi, I'm Jody,
And I'm Allison.
and you're listening to the Blume Saloon.
It's a Judy Blume. It's a Judy Blume book club movie night.
Guys, we just finished watching the film Tiger Eyes.
From 2012.
Some might say it's timeless.
I would say it's a timeless story.
I was initially slightly disappointed that it wasn't a period piece. Straight up 1981, feathered hair and all.
I completely agree. I just think it would have cost more money.
But yeah, Allison, what did you think? Maybe that's a loaded question. Maybe we should cut that out and we should start with a little bit of background about the movie.
Oh, sure. Let's start with a little bit of background.
we have no plans for how we're going to do this. Okay, so we thought we'd give you a little bit of background about how this film came to be.
Yes, Judy and her son wrote the movie. And then Judy's son, Lawrence Blume, directed the movie.
A true family affair.
Mm-hmm.
And this apparently wasn't the first time they've collaborated. Turns out that Lawrence and Judy worked on a TV adaptation of otherwise known as Sheila the Great for, what was it, ABC, I think?
I think it was ABC Family or ABC.
In the early 90s. But it turned out not to be such a happy experience for Judy.
I just wonder, was she mad at Lawrence? Or was she just mad at the network?
I think she was mad at the network because apparently she didn't have any creative control.
She had a lot of creative control here.
Yeah, all the creative control.
And she had a cameo.
Yes! Oh my God! I would have missed it if it weren't for you,
Oh my
Allison.
gosh.
So
I was like, Judy!
thank you for your eagle eyes.
Judy!
She did. She made a cameo as one of the like Christmas singers around the piano at the...
Right. I think that she was the single teacher that got a little too boozy.
Yes, I hope so. Kindergarten teacher.
That's my hope.
But yeah, so apparently ever since writing Tiger Eyes, Judy has pictured this story on the big screen, but it never happened. And maybe she was just waiting for the right moment or the right kind of funding or the right situation to come through. And somebody gave her $2 million, which Allison and I were like, that doesn't seem like a lot for a movie.
It's not a lot for a feature film.
Do you have any idea what the average budget of a feature film would be?
No, I just know you can make commercials for like $2 million.
Right.
So, but I actually thought it was really beautiful.
It was so well done.
Like it visually, it was very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And as we kept saying, Los Alamos was much more green and lush than we imagined. And it was really quite lovely.
Yeah. Still want to go, right?
I definitely want to go.
Even more so now. What else? What's our quick 30-second takeaway?
My quick 30-second takeaway is that it's a lot to cover in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have this kind of like climactic moment. Is climactic a word?
Yeah.
They had to make it a little more dramatic and have a little more crying and running and than there was actually in the book.
Yeah.
So they had to create some situations that weren't in the book. And I would have preferred a little more backstory or a little more of Davy finding herself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I missed. But overall, there were some crazy accuracies.
For instance, when Minka the cat first came on, she made her appearance in her cat carrier. We were like, Minka!
Minka! Oh my God, Minka!
Linnea!
Minka, played by Simba.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure we credit the actors here.
What else was really accurate? So Linnea was great. I think the location, like you just said, seems spot on. I mean, they went to the actual Los Alamos High School to film. They showed us some stomps. I think Bitsy and Walter seemed pretty,
I thought Walter would be a little bit bigger.
like, fatter.
Yeah, because he eats so much meat and potatoes.
Right.
And drinks so much brandy. But he really is just like a Martin Sheen doppelganger.
He was. Yeah.
Mom was good. Mom was played by Amy Jo Johnson, who is the Pink Power Ranger. And
I had no idea.
And was also in Felicity. So there was good casting there. Dad was way too hot.
Oh my God, you guys. He was the handsomest man in the universe. Way too hot. And I know he's supposed to be young, but he looked like a little too young. Like he could be mistaken for Davy's boyfriend if they were walking down the boardwalk together.
That's what I thought when he's dying and laying in her lap. I shouldn't be laughing. I was like, oh, like that's her boyfriend. Because that's what it looked like.
It did. Oh, that was strange.
Davy's played by Willa Holland, who was the younger sister on the OC, and she's in some other Gossip Girl and some other kind of teeny things.
Mm-hmm. She was very, very good.
She was really good.
Yeah.
You know what she's not good at?
What?
Singing.
Oh, yes. Should we talk about that now, or should we just like kind of
just dive in?
Fuck it. Okay.
Talk about things as they happen.
In case we didn't tell you this before, which we didn't, this is going to be a mini episode.
Oh, yeah. It's going to end up being an hour of just rambling. So I hope you're ready for that.
Stream of consciousness. Okay, so back to Davy's singing. Oh my God.
They didn't do Oklahoma.
No, we were so looking forward to Oklahoma. We were looking forward to Girl Who Can't Say No. And Jane's rendition of, her drunk rendition of, what was it she sang? Oh, What a Beautiful Morning.
Yes.
Didn't happen.
What a beautiful. But it was just like, I don't even know what it was. And it was really bad. Davy's audition was really bad. And they were like, wow, that was great.
But it was not the...
It was not the confident shower singer we know from the book.
No.
Also a note on the musical. Reuben. We need to talk about Reuben all the way through because his character morphed.
Yes. Supposed to be kind of a typical kind of math nerd.
But in this version, he's way more like the lovable sidekick, has been friends with Jane forever, might have a crush on Jane.
Yeah, something.
Instead of Davy, and has Ducky vibes.
Total Ducky.
All the way.
Yeah,
he's more like a rude boy, kind of like
he was
ska.
a ska.
Except for when he's wearing that silver puffy vest. I was like, this is just really out of character for this new character they've created.
It was very off-brand.
He had purple hair.
Yeah.
And he performed like a croony, jazzy version of Blue Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So the musical was really just like a talent show.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking, though? Going back to the nerds, we did a lot of research into nerds the last episode.
I feel like they really let us down.
Well, but maybe not because, okay, this was filmed when? Did you say?
2012.
current day, basically. And as we know, nerds have morphed from the 80s.
That's true. He was more of a Seth Cohen.
Yes, exactly. So maybe Judy knew what she was doing.
Well, I have to say, when James heard us talking about nerds and that we would refer to him as a nerd, he said, I think there are some real nerds that wouldn't like that.
I mean, do you think he's just in denial, or do you think that's true?
I think he's just in denial because that's more fun to say. What else? Wolf was played by Tatanka Means, who is now a stand-up comedian. He had the most beautiful hair and braids I've ever seen. Great shades.
Oh, those shades. They were like wraparound Oakleys from 1992. Mm-hmm.
I loved his casting. I loved his hair. However, he was the one whose character took the biggest departure from reality in terms of storyline. He was showing up when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, you guys remember Cuando los lagartijos corren?
That was good.
I've been practicing. Well, he was supposed to disappear, as per the book, until spring when the lizards would come back. But in the movie, he told Davy Cuando los lagartijos corren, but then showed up in like the very next scene.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He kept showing up everywhere.
He was showing up everywhere, and he didn't show up at all again in the book except to send her the tiger's eye amulet, which he then gave her in person.
And he showed up to her talent show.
And they made out, and they went to a Native American ceremony.
Yeah. Which, okay, let's talk about the ceremony.
It was beautiful.
It was very meaningful. I get what they were saying. You know, there was a whole kind of situation where Wolf is becoming somewhat adopted by another member of his community since his father's dying, right? Is that what you took away from that? Talking about how, you know, everyone needs to belong. Everyone needs family. So you could see Davy absorbing this and being like, yeah, that applies to me too. And it was very uplifting, and
it made sense in the context of the whole story. But was brand new.
Right. And it lasted for a little too long.
It was way too long. But the man doing the ceremony had a really cool belt.
And then later, that's all brought back again where Davy, so after we're really just skipping around here. It's pretty amazing.
It's okay.
Davy, okay, so she ran out of her recital crying because she sang a song that was kind of a throwback to this song that she and her handsome dad used to sing to each other.
Right.
So that was a departure as well. But again, it did make sense. So she runs away. She somehow ends up at the canyon. And then Wolf finds her, wraps a blanket around her, cradles her, and like smooths her hair back and whispers this chant in her ear.
Oh, I thought it was a bit of like throat singing.
A throat chant?
Yeah.
Well, Alison did say, as we were watching this, I wonder how accurate all of this is. And
yeah, so if any of our Blume Head listeners are also, you know, very well versed in Native American culture, specifically Native Americans that live in New Mexico,
right,
we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to watch Tiger Eyes and tell us what you think.
It's a big ask, but
it's on iTunes, and you can rent it on the TV too, I think.
Okay.
How did you rent it?
On Amazon Prime.
Oh,
on
yeah.
The TV.
See, you can. There's lots of ways to watch the movie.
$3.99.
Yeah, it's the same on iTunes. And we've got it for a whole week, so. And we took pictures of the TV, so we'll post some of those too. Oh my God. One of the things we took a picture of to really jump around is Danielle.
Alison, will you please tell us what Danielle had on her shoulder?
So in the book, it's more like a little hobbit creature, right?
Fuzzy little hobbit.
A fuzzy little hobbit. In this, it's more like, well, at first I thought it was more of a quail. But then when I saw it up close, it's really more of like a guinea pig with a feather crown that kind of like swirls up and around.
And it was big.
It was really big, and she always wears it. And she came back in the movie in a way that I really appreciated. You know, in the book, she just kind of pops up, and that's when Davy goes on to become a candy striper. But in the movie, that happens. But then when Jane is auditioning and she's a hot mess express on stage, Danielle turns around to Davy and's like, you could have been friends with me.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was really good. And she said, I hope you're happy with your choice.
Yeah, it was really good. She was way sassier, and I loved it. And it opens on, the first shot of the high school. There are LARPers outside. Mm-hmm. So they really set that scene nicely. Mm-hmm.
You can tell what Judy and her son Lawrence, or I think Larry is what they call him.
Oh.
You can tell what was important to them. Like the little details that they enjoyed.
There were good little details. Like Jason's cape.
Yeah.
Jason was great. The Albertsons are not racist in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
They left that part out completely. And there was no graffiti on the car in Santa Fe. And Dudelets was not a cat store. So those are details I didn't appreciate being left out.
And Jane has a chin in the movie.
That's true. And she's like more of a redhead than a blonde.
She was beautiful, though.
She was very cute. She had great eyebrows.
She really did. It impresses me when anyone has really thick eyebrows pre-2016, before microblading. It's true.
She was really killing the eyebrow game in 2012. She might have started it.
Yeah.
There is no Miriam. There's no therapy.
And
Mom just cured herself. Trying to appreciate.
And no bread knife.
No bread knife. And they don't go to Philomena's. They just go to the canyon.
I wish they had gone to Philomena's.
But I guess because it's not around anymore.
Right.
Mr. Ortiz was great. He's Wolf's father in real life.
Oh, yeah.
And in the movie, which is pretty cool. And he's a well-known Native American activist. And he was photographed by Andy Warhol. And he's been in tons of other movies. But I want to note that his dancing bear in the movie was out of control.
Whoa, it was. It kind of did a belly flop, then it spun around on its belly.
It was flipping and spinning and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Where did they find a dancing bear that was so good?
All of Jane's puking was super realistic.
I had to cover my face with the book because I couldn't look at it. Oh, the candle. The candle
had 5 wicks.
We counted.
And it was really pretty.
Yeah, it was a really great, sand art.
Minka did not go with them. She stayed in Atlantic City with Linnea.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, this is the biggest one. Bitsy is Gwen's sister.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they changed. That's a big switcheroo on us.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom, Gwen's pill popping and depression occurs way earlier in this movie. And on their way from the airport to Walter and Bitsy's house, she says the hot air balloon line about wanting to go up and never come down. She did say it kind of like that.
She did.
And they were all like, ugh.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward.
But it was really awkward because they were just in the car, not at the hot air balloon festival talking about hot air balloons.
And then Walter's like,
he's swerving. He doesn't drive a Blazer. He drives a Jeep.
Oh, speaking of cars, the car that Jane and Ted and Davy and Reuben get into is not a blue Subaru.
No, it was
some Cadillac looking thing.
Yeah, that was a Cadillac, old Cadillac looking thing.
With a torn up roof.
Yeah, it was not a Subaru.
Oh, the bathtub scene.
Yeah, it wasn't just Davy just taking a bath at people's house.
This is a change that I appreciated. It made so much more sense.
Yeah, she was just hanging out in the bathtub, in the bathroom, talking to Jane, who was doing her nails.
As you do. Sometimes you just want to crawl in a dry bathtub.
I did that recently.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. I was having a bad day.
Do you want to talk about this?
No, I really don't. It was a weird moment.
Oh, man.
Walter really socked Davy.
Oh, the slap was he braced himself with his feet. It was like a sportsman slap.
He wound up.
Mm-hmm.
And he never apologized.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking at the end of the movie, what what was it about Walter that I was not sympathetic towards this time around? And it was because he didn't apologize. You're right.
You're a sucker for apologies.
Yep.
The tiger's eye crystal was really beautiful.
And Davy made it into a necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about Jason dropping the bowl?
Oh, yeah.
This was the scene when like shit really goes down in the in Witsy's kitchen. I'm forgetting what started this off, but basically Davy's just being super sassy. Gwen's involved and she gets upset, and then Bitsy gets upset.
Yeah, I think it's a stand-in for the driver's license.
Yeah.
Where Davy's mad because Gwen isn't really taking charge, and Walter and Bitsy are kind of controlling Davy's life a bit more than she would like.
And that was very, very briefly mentioned, kind of swept over. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on the fact that Gwen is like relinquishing her children, basically.
No, there wasn't a ton of time on that whole kind of home situation.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason gets really upset. And we were wondering what they were eating, and it was indeed ice cream. It was not a giant thing of butter.
That was ice cream in that container?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was just a family-size ice cream.
I thought it was butter. Family-sized butter, I mean.
And then Jason just takes his bowl of ice cream, holds it up, and just drops it in the kitchen. And so it's kind of weird because Jason's more of a little shit than he is in the book. In the book, he's kind of an angel.
In the book, he's also a comedian. He's hilarious in the book.
He did not have the comedic timing in the movie that he does in the book.
No.
There were no poems.
There were no pee jokes.
No pee jokes.
You brought up a good point just now about there not being a lot of time spent on the family dynamic. And I think that was cast aside for the development of the romantic relationship with Wolf.
Yeah, I think there was actually too much Wolf focus.
I
agree.
agree.
I think they saw that man and his braids and were like, we got to get more. How can we get more Wolf into this story?
More screen time for those braids.
More Wolf.
I know we've talked about this as we were reading the book, but I really liked Wolf's mystery. It made me uncomfortable when he and Davy got too close. I didn't even like it when she touched his hand in the car. That was just too much for me.
Right. Once Martin Ortiz was revealed to be Wolf, you didn't like it.
No.
And that happens pretty early on in the movie.
And then quickly from there, things progress. I mean, you guys, they kiss, they make out, and Davy makes the first move.
Yeah.
And Wolf's like, what are you doing? And she said, I'm doing exactly what I feel like. I mean, you go. You do you.
Yeah, you go, girl.
I'm going to cut that.
Nope. Don't cut it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there was a lot of intimacy between them. I don't know why I'm so anti, but I just...
No, I liked it when he was... It was more of an unrequited love. In this, it was like, oh, okay, there's Wolf again, and he loves her.
I think I like the unrequited love, or just kind of the mystery and the yearning from afar, because it's just more real.
It's way more real. Especially when he's going through so much. Like, his dad dies, and then he pops back up and is like, oh, hey.
Right.
Whereas, in the book, he dies and he goes away, and we never see him again except for the letter.
Mm-hmm. That's what
and
happened.
Davy tells him in person all the things she wrote in the letters to him that she put in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Just tells him. I don't like that.
Maybe it's because Judy figured it's 2012. Kids don't write letters anymore.
Oh, my God.
It's
probably right.
But I am glad there were no cell phones and texting in this movie.
That's true. They didn't up the technology
they
too
were
much.
Conspicuously screen free.
Mm-hmm. Hugh wasn't really a big deal. He didn't come till way later and was just really just an accessory to her finding her dad.
He was a cute blonde boy, though.
He was a cute little blonde boy.
I did like the kind of stylistic look of those flashbacks.
They were pretty, all kind of blown out.
The images seemed kind of flattened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cut out. It was cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of that.
Like I said, it was shot really well.
Mm-hmm. For $2 million.
Mm-hmm. Not all of the acting was great.
Oh, I didn't notice
Some
any.
of it was good. I thought Walter and Bitsy, while they were cast very well and had some great moments, and Bitsy kind of nailed her part sometimes, she's a little... I don't know, she wasn't quite right.
Oh,
Just in terms, she just wasn't a super talented actor.
I didn't notice that at all, but it made me realize that so often when like I watch a movie or TV with someone, they're like, oh yeah, that person's a bad actor. And I never notice.
Oh no. You have no bad acting radar.
Yeah, it's a common occurrence where but then I think someone's a bad actor and I'll point it out and everyone's like, no, they were great.
We need to dive into this deeper throughout the course of our podcast journey because I need to know more about this. We need to watch more movies.
We'll do some more tests.
Mm-hmm. More tests. I need to get to the bottom of your syndrome.
So the movie ends there's a very abrupt location shift. And then suddenly Davy's back in Atlantic City.
Obviously, it's the ocean.
She's swimming in the ocean.
Seagulls.
Yeah, you can hear some seagulls crowing. Not crowing.
Cooing?
Tweeting? No. What?
Tweeting? They kind of just...
Yeah, like screaming. Screaming seagulls.
Screeching.
That's a band, right?
Somewhere.
Flock of seagulls.
Yeah, is that what you're thinking of?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
So there's a flock of seagulls. Davy is in the ocean swimming with her tiger eye pendant around her neck.
Which seems dangerous. I don't want her to lose it in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. I thought the same thing. And it made me remember the conversation she had with Willie Ortiz, who is insistent that she was a swimmer. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this was her paying a tribute to Willie Ortiz and Lost Dreams? And because he never learned how to swim. So do you think she was splashing around in the ocean to...
It's her living it up, living life. Full of life, love, and laughter. Swim like Willie was watching.
Swim like Willie was watching. Mm-hmm. I hope you dance. Mm-hmm. Swim like Willie's watching.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Why, Judy, why did you not end the movie with that song?
There was something very similar.
Yeah, it's true. That's one personal gripe I had. I was not a fan of the soundtrack.
2012 was a weird time.
Yeah. And I think the target audience was a little different from us.
What?
On that note, can I quickly tell you about an interesting experience that happened to both myself and Tyler this weekend?
Yes, please.
I've just been thinking a lot about age recently. I've had a few friends that have turned 40 and they've been lamenting about their age, and then it makes me lament about my age. And then this weekend, shit hit the fan. I was in an Uber on the way home from our friend Lizzie's birthday, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was heading back to Oakland from San Francisco. And that is the time of day when you do not want to take an Uber pool. The two other passengers that got in the car were these dudes straight off the Polk Street party strip.
Oof. Oof.
And they were like in their 20s. They got in the car and the first thing they started talking about was all the coke they had just done. And then one of them that was sitting in the back with me was trying to make conversation. And I was just tired as fuck. So I just like had the window rolled down. I was just getting some fresh air and just trying to like sleep in the back. And he's like, so what did you do tonight? What'd you do tonight? And I'm like, oh, friend's birthday. And he's like, how old's your friend? How old's your friend? And I was like, oh, I think she turned 35. And he's like, oh, that's old. And then I made a face at him and I made a grunting noise that let him know that I did not appreciate that comment.
Wait, what? Like, what was it like?
My grunt?
Yeah.
I was like, something like something like that.
Okay.
And he goes, oh, sorry. I didn't mean that I mean, you don't look 35. And in my head, I was like, I'm even older than that. But I didn't say anything. And then he was trying so overly hard to be nice to me after that.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, I'm tired. I'm not feeling too well. I'd rather not talk. I've never done that before, but it felt so liberating.
I'm glad.
I felt so powerful in the back of that Uber.
Oh my God.
But then that same night, Tyler had gone to our neighbor's house right next door. They're all musicians and they host these like little shows in their backyard. So he went over there ended up talking to this girl who was telling him all about First Fridays in Oakland. And he was like, oh yeah, like what goes on at First Fridays? And she was like, oh yeah, it's a bunch of like, you know, people in their 20s. And then she looked at him and she was like, oh, and there's stuff for older people too.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And he said the conversations turned so awkward, and she spent like the next few minutes like trying to list all these things that old people like.
Oh my God.
And we were both just looked at each other and were like, what happened tonight?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The thing about young people,
Oh yeah, let's hear this.
they're just not always very tactful.
No, and it's true. Like when I was younger in my 20s, I had some older friends I considered my contemporaries for the most part, but sometimes like we'd be reminded of the age difference, and I'm sure I said some things that were like super annoying to them.
Well, I've been reminded a lot recently, like in my own head, of the times that I've told pregnant women they were huge.
Oh my God.
Well, just like they were friends, and I
Right.
was just like thinking like, oh my God, like you're huge. Like it's more like a funny kind of sweet
look how
thing.
cute and huge you are.
But this week, my grandparents were visiting, and my grandma kept saying it. You're just so big. You're huge. You're so much bigger than your sister.
Oh no, you don't
who
say
just
that.
had a baby. And then my grandpa told me to come sit next to him, fatty. So, I really feel very, like, that karma is real.
Yeah. You really mean, oh my God, your belly, like your baby's like,
It's cool. Like your body has changed,
your
and it's
baby's
really
big.
cool. Right, exactly.
But-
Whereas I'm like, no, I'm big everywhere.
Right.
Thank
Oh God. I know there's so many like tactless things that can be said around pregnant women.
I don't even want to know though the things I said to people that were like my age.
Right.
Now, when I was younger, probably some dumb stuff. But it doesn't make you feel any better once you are a little older.
It's true. What?
You got some good inside Spanish scoop.
Oh yeah. As you Blume Heads know, we've had an ongoing analysis of the Spanish language here on the Blume Saloon. We're learning.
We found some experts.
This weekend, I went to Vegas with some friends, and one of them, my friend Augustine, is a native Spanish speaker, and we were talking about my mispronunciations here on the Blume Saloon, and he was like, well, let me hear it. Let me hear what you've been saying. So I like recited some Spanish from Tiger Eyes for him.
Cuando las lagartijas corren. That's how you say it properly. Las lagartijas. Now, from what you are saying to me is that there is a masculine, lagartijo. I have not heard of this, lagartijo. But there are some countries where they have the masculine and the feminine for things that are just maybe feminine or masculine. But now some of these, like animals, you can give them a feminine and a masculine, like lagartija. I have never heard lagartijo, but it could be in some countries they have a masculine for this creature, for the lizard.
On a side note, Jody went to Margaritaville.
Yeah, well, it's now our mission to stop in at any Margaritaville we pass ever. So when we were on the Strip, I think we were on our way back from a dinner buffet. We passed by Margaritaville and we went, and it was right before midnight, and it turns out that happy hour ends at midnight. So of course we got our $5 margaritas just in the nick of time. And you guys, the place was totally dead. I mean, granted, this was like a Tuesday, but I would have thought Margaritaville would be more hopping, honestly. Allison, there is something crazy that goes on at Margaritaville.
I'm so excited.
I kept glancing at this big tub of water. It was maybe 6 to 7 feet high next to the bar. And I was like, what's going on? And every now and then like bubbles would bubble up from the bottom. Just thought, okay, maybe that's a fish tank, but there's no fish in there. I didn't really think too much about it. Turns out, I found later via Instagram videos that receptacle is actually a huge blender, and ladies dance inside of it. They do water dances.
Inside of a giant blender? That
Yes.
sounds so dangerous.
Can you imagine? Just like hit the on button.
Human smoothies.
Oh, no. Do you want a brunette or blonde?
Oh my god. See, I thought maybe people were going to get in it. I thought that's where you were going, but it went weirder than I thought. And then I had these like fantasies of mermaids.
They are kind of mermaid-like. It's almost like pole dancing, but in a blender without a pole.
What do you mean in a blender? Like, what?
It's not a real blender. It's just like... It's like a container of water with like measurements on the side, like you would have on a blender.
So it looks like a blender. But it's not. Because I was like, what is it, like a jacuzzi?
Oh my god, I'm the worst at explaining things. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I wonder why I even have a podcast, because I can't tell stories. Yes.
Okay.
I'll show you a video. You'll understand.
I can't wait.
And we'll post it on our Facebook group. Don't worry, guys.
This has been the highlight of my evening.
And we've been recording for 42 minutes.
We should go, because this is still a mini episode.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us for our mini episode and for all of Tiger Eyes. And we will be back not next week, but the week after. We're taking a little break.
Mm-hmm. With Then Again, Maybe I Won't.
Yep.
Oh, and I'll just give you a teaser. It is the funny, touching story of a boy with problems. So stay tuned for that.
Oh my God. Okay, bye.
Bye.